listeners drinking good herb tea. I'm your host for today, Fawzi Mesmar.
And I'm Osama, yes?
And I'm Rami.
And we also have a fourth Habibi, actually a Habibati that joined us. We have Susan Watkins on the show. Hello, Susan.
Hi, thanks so much for having me.
It's not. This is like the first time in a while. There's not only two Habibis. It's like a full house plus one.
Plus a guest.
Doubling our numbers.
A special day.
Yeah.
Susan, can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, absolutely. So my name's Susan. I just started working for Bungie. And I need to say that I'm not representing them in this podcast, but I just started that job. But more importantly today...
Rami is representing them in this podcast. Just so
I'm wearing this shirt. I'm not even this is a Destiny t-shirt.
Yeah, Rami definitely has me beat so far for probably a long time in terms of Bungie repping. But I'll get there. But more importantly for today, I'm also representing Draw for Charity, which is a group of friends that does fundraising events for various charities. And we're running our, I guess, biannual big event right now, our July fundraiser for Child's Play charity, Play Games Feel Better, that brings technology to children's hospitals to help children recover from serious illnesses. So thank you all so much for being part of that.
Thank you for doing all that. So I don't draw very well. Is it okay if I draw for charity anyway?
So it's funny because we have had a number of people say, wait a minute, it's a 48-hour stream? So are we drawing for 48 hours? But no. Draw 4 is actually pulled from the game Uno. So the event started out pretty small, just a group of friends playing Uno for 8 to 12 hours, like a silly, fun little marathon. God. And then, yeah. And then has grown into the event it is now, which is this particular one is a 48-hour stream with a pretty wide variety of guests from across the industry, several industries. But no, Osama, I won't put your drawing skills to the test this time. Next time, maybe.
Osama's pretty sad about this.
I am. I love drawing.
Well, I won't put you on the spot, but please feel free to be drawing and giving us periodic updates because we do have video. So
maybe we'll do a dedicated stream just for my drawings, and you'll get no viewers.
No, this is the content we crave. Let's just stick around after this and just draw.
Let's do it.
I once did a global game jam talk that was just I can't draw, but I will draw anyway because it's the best way to communicate with artists. And I just drew the worst cow in the history of mankind. And the thing that really got to me is that I drew the cow and I just, I'd drawn the body and I'd drawn the legs and I'd draw the tail. And I just couldn't remember where the head of a cow goes. I couldn't for the life of me remember whether the head goes on top of the body or in front of the body or lower than the body. So I just kind of drew the head kind of halfway on top of it. And then when I was done, I looked at a cow and just was very embarrassed.
At the heart of it, it's Rami is still a programmer, and there will be programmer art. He can't help it. He will try, but programmer art will come out.
I like the idea that you're writing some function, if head is higher than body, then this happens.
It was a very bad cow, but it brought across the point of the talk, which okay.
Okay. I was a very bad cow is the title of this episode.
That's actually that's not the worst episode title I've heard come out of us brainstorming.
I like it.
So
let me take a note.
Have you been flying anywhere lately? Have you flown yourself to Brighton?
I wish. I actually flew past Brighton 2 weeks ago on my UK trip, so it's really weird being on the ground this time, but
yeah.
So I've not been flying too much because I've been focusing on my theory. So, long story short, to just fly, you don't actually need your license. you need permission from an instructor to fly until you get your license. So, I'm bound by somebody giving me permission to fly, but also I always get the permission. So I've not really needed my license. So I've not really been pushing for all the things. I've just been enjoying my flying. And then one of the things that I haven't been doing is theory exams. Until a while ago, I just hadn't been doing theory because you only need that for your license. You don't need it to fly airplanes. So the other day, one of the instructors came to me and said, like, hey, I want to become an examinator, but to be an examinator, I need to examine somebody doing an exam while an examinator examines me taking the examination.
Say that 5 times quick.
Yeah.
Exactly. So I was like, so wait, what you're saying is if I'm exam ready, I can create a circumstance where you can get the thing you want. And he was like, yes. And I'm like, okay, then I'll do it. So I immediately went to studying, and I've now done 5 of my 7 exams.
Wow.
I have my next one. When this episode comes out, I'll have the result for my next one, which is on Friday. So almost there, and then there's one left. I left one of the easiest one for last, and then on the 26th, inshallah, I'll do my exam, my final exam, and if I pass that, and I might pass, I might not pass. It's like with a driver's test, like circumstances, like all sorts of things can go in. If I get that, I'll get my license. But it's funny
man,
because
amazing.
our examinations are separate. So I can pass, but the examiner can fail, or I can fail, but the examiner can pass. So they're actually independent from each other.
That's hilarious.
The examiner is being examined on the examination, and I'm being examined on my performance. So we hope that when we land, both of us will be happy.
How deep does that go?
That's not
Does
good.
the person examining them also get examinated?
I don't think so, because I don't think we can bring more than 2 people on the airplane. So
Who's gonna examine the examinators? That's like a
Who watches the
graphic
Watchmen?
novel.
this is a rough question. But yeah, so I haven't actually been flying all that much.
Wow, Rami. But like you've been doing the theoretical exams, and like I'm seeing the check boxes on your Twitter.
Right.
Like we've been Osama and I've been following this journey for quite some time, and I think a
Yes,
bunch
we
of other
have.
people too. But
Yeah.
like, yeah, you're very quick. Like I've had other friends that like tried to get their pilot license before. I don't think any of them have had the same level of dedication and speed in terms of like how quickly you've been
Right.
knocking things off.
I mean, I'm in Brighton for Brighton Develop, which is it's like the biggest UK games conference, basically. Right there on my hotel bed is my book navigation meteorology, because Meteo is my next one, and I have like my notepad and my calculator and my board computer and like everything. Also, board computer is completely it's not the right word. It's like a cardboard piece. It's a square cardboard with a round cardboard that you can rotate, and it helps you convert between things. So they call it a computer, but it's not like actually. It's like a piece of cardboard. So like every day after I come back from the conference, I just sit there and study for 2-3 hours, and then go to bed. So
It's like that the VR headset thing that once came out. They call it a VR headset, but it's just a piece of cardboard.
But they also
Right.
called it a cardboard, so it wasn't false advertising.
It wasn't false advertising. No.
they were quite honest about it. Yeah, that was Google, wasn't it?
Yeah,
I think
the
it
Google
was. Yeah.
cardboard. Yeah,
Yeah.
I forgot that existed. I have one here somewhere, at least one.
Oh yeah,
That is-
I had one too.
that
I
is-
think.
It's good stuff, Rami. I'm really like, yeah, we are cheering you on here on the Habibis because we're waiting for Air Habibis to
Air
take us on the road.
Habibis!
Yeah.
Yes, the podcast that's in the air, on the air.
Oh my god. I will happily come pick y'all up and fly somewhere. That sounds fun.
Let's do it.
That would
Let's
be
do it.
fun. That's awesome. And while Susan is here, maybe there's somebody else that will understand what Rami is saying when he's talking about Destiny.
Which I will 100% take this opportunity to talk about Destiny later. But first, I want to know how y'all's week was.
I had a
What
good
you've been
week.
up.
Yeah, go.
I spent almost the entire week last week since the last recording in a chalet with my family, and it was wonderful. So
Aw.
we went with my wife has two sisters. We went with my wife, kids, her sisters, and her sisters' families. So we were 6 adults and 6 kids, and we took over the chalet. It was like a massive place. Everyone practically had their own room, or sharing at least with one other person, and it had a lot of land with a fire pit, and it was waterfront, and it had canoes and kayaks all built in. So we spent a ridiculous amount of time in the water, on the water, around the water, everywhere.
Nice.
It was such a nice disconnect. I said it was off the grid. It wasn't exactly off the grid because my mobile kind of worked. My mobile data was spotty, but if I squint and angle it in a way, I kind of got a little bit of data, so it was partially off the grid. But for all intents and purposes, my kids were off the grid, which is a big deal for them. That doesn't happen very often. They're
a big deal in a positive way.
In a positive way, yes.
Oh, okay, well.
Yes, in a positive way. Initially, there was resistance. What do you mean? There's no Wi-Fi.
Yeah. I would throw a tantrum myself.
Oh,
no Wi-Fi. I'll be very upset.
There was one night where I hooked up my Switch to my hotspot on my phone so we could play Jackbox together, that kind of thing. So that was cool. But that was about as much internet as they got the whole week, and they didn't complain at all. They just found other ways to fill their time, which was incredible and shocking. I expected resistance. There was none. So I have very few things in terms of entertainment to report back on, but what I do have is pretty big. So do I do that now, or do we do the full catch up with everyone else first?
Oh, it's pretty big. I want to hear it.
It's pretty big and pretty heavy. I got a Steam Deck.
Oh, nice! You got it.
I finally got it. So when the orders went up, I was literally the first person in the world, you can't prove otherwise, that was there on the website refreshing, trying to get...
Steam even tweeted about it. I was like, wow, Osama Dorius just ordered the first ever Steam Deck.
No, he didn't order it first. He just refreshed the website a lot first.
Yes.
That's why he didn't get it early. He was just refreshing the website.
My order went through an hour after the website was presumably taking orders. That's how long it took me of refreshing before I was able to get through. And initially it was supposed to arrive at the beginning of this year, Q1. Then it was pushed to Q2. Then it was pushed to Q3, and I was starting to lose hope. This is the beginning of Q3, and I got it right away, right at the beginning. So I'm counting my blessings. I absolutely love it. I have a handful of small complaints. I think they're going to echo everyone else's complaints. Nothing new. Battery life was super short, especially if you play intense games. And since one of the main reasons I got it was for when I travel, that's kind of a little disappointing. I could maybe get 2 hours on a flight, or you adjust and you play games that are not too demanding.
Also, you bring a battery pack.
Yeah, or you bring a couple, because it drains the battery packs quickly.
It goes fast,
really quickly. And the other thing is, and it plays platformers really well with the D-pad. I was actually worried about the positioning of the D-pad and the analog stick, but for platformers, I played Super Time Force, which is one of my favorite platforming games. It's so good and underrated, and it played incredibly well. You forget that you're playing with the G-pads all the way on the sides. It's not as easy to forget in fighting games. It's not perfect for fighting games, so that's a little unfortunate, but it's still very good. It's still very, very good. Those are the two quibbles that I have about it. I didn't install Windows or Epic. I didn't have any time with it. I just literally received it yesterday. I had a few hours to play a couple of games, and that was it. And I was in the chalet the day before, so I really haven't had a lot of time with it. But I did download a new game. I downloaded Neon White, and I played it. And I had already downloaded or pre-ordered a fighting game, DNF Duel, but I got that on PlayStation 5, so that also took up some of my night. So I didn't have a lot of time with it. So these are the two things I noticed. The other thing that was incredible, shocking, and people told me this was going to be the case, I didn't realize to what extent. after work, I went outside and I played in my backyard. It was super sunny, and I could see the screen perfectly. And
Mhm.
like I have done the same thing with my Nintendo Switch, and at some points I'm like, okay, I have to put up the umbrella, the parasol, or I can't see. I might as well just go
Yep.
inside. That didn't happen. I was in the sunlight. It was like coming down on the stream, like it was practically reflecting into my eyes, and I was still able to see. It was shocking.
Wow.
Mhm.
So it has a lot going for it. I love the form factor. It's heavy, but it's not as heavy as I expected. People were really
I
exaggerating.
generally the balance, the weight balance
Yeah.
of it is super good. It's so comfortable
Yes.
to hold.
Yes, I agree. Like when I'm leaning back on my reclining chair in my backyard, my elbows are like, firm on the armrests, and I forget it's there. Like that's enough of
Yeah.
a support. It's not so heavy that
Yep.
it's actually exerting weight. It's about twice as heavy as a Switch, which is very light. So it's not that exaggerated. It's like holding a bottle and a half of ketchup. Like it's not that bad.
I like that's the measurement.
How did we? This
Everyone
airplane is like
knows.
14,000th bottle of ketchup.
How often do you carry bottles of ketchup for
I have
that
a-
to
I
be
don't
the
know.
first
I have a
thing that
lot
comes
of
to mind?
kids. I have a lot of kids.
Fair.
I'm handling a lot of ketchup. So,
He's swindling ketchup.
I love it because it's like a
What is-
banana for reference. Like there's not one
banana
size for
is-
a bottle of ketchup.
If you said banana, I wouldn't have thought twice. I mean, like it's a common fruit. Where you're like a bottle of ketchup.
It's like holding 4 bananas. Let's put it that way.
All right.
Is it this size of bottle? Is it like a medium
No,
size?
I'm
Is
talking
it
about the
like
family
between your hand?
size.
The
The
family
big-
Like
size
the big,
bottle of
like
ketchup.
6 people bottle of ketchup.
Pretty much.
Okay,
Right,
good.
the burning tech question that everybody, like whenever there's a piece of tech, there's always the one question: can you run Doom on that thing?
Yes, absolutely.
You can.
Doom 2016 or
Yes.
beyond.
Yes.
Yeah, you
And
can.
beyond.
You can. I
Yes.
tried. Although I installed Windows on it because I
Yeah.
really only wanted to play Destiny on it. So,
Is it true you get banned if you try to run Destiny through the console itself, like through the Linux?
through Linux, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, because it requires you circumventing the cheat protection.
Yeah, but banned? I mean, it could just give you a.
I mean, you're circumventing the cheat protection. That's a ban in almost every game in the history of mankind.
Yeah, but I mean, they should at least have a warning or something, or disable it, or
There's not a lot of games that go like, yes, you intentionally circumvented cheat. Let me tell you about how that's bad, and then we'll.
Okay, look, I understand you're the official Destiny representative here, but cut me some slack. If you were not on the internet and you didn't know that you would get banned, this is it's a rough thing to happen to someone. You're
Right,
just like,
but also-
launch Destiny.
The only way to do it is to figure out how to circumvent the Destiny cheat protection, which requires you to Google how you circumvent the Destiny cheat protection, which will
I see.
100% show up articles that say, hey, please don't circumvent the Destiny cheat protection because we will ban the out of you.
Okay, so if you try to run it otherwise, it just won't work.
It just gives you a black screen.
Okay, that's fine. Okay, as long as that's what happens. I thought people were just launching it day one and getting banned, and I was that's extreme and not unfair.
They launch it and then it doesn't work because BattleEye, which is the anti-cheat program that they're using, doesn't actually run on. Well, it doesn't run by default on Linux.
Yeah.
So there's ways for Bungie to make it work, but also because Linux is kind of, I love Linux, but it's also kind of a mess.
Yeah.
They opted to not do that. Sorry, Susan. I'm just doing the talking about Destiny thing.
No, please go forth.
All roads lead to Destiny.
Yes.
All my roads lead to Destiny. But
Have you been playing Destiny? No,
I've been playing a lot of Destiny.
There's a new update thing.
Not really. So the season of the Haunted just ended its storyline, which is their most current season, and it was a very interesting season in that Destiny has tackled a lot of difficult subjects. It's tackled racism, it's tackled prejudice, it's tackled different perspectives on the same conflict. It's tackled guilt. It's tackled like shame. And this season is the season of every major character in Destiny goes to therapy.
Okay.
That's basically it. Like, there is a big ship that is causing everybody's worst fears to become nightmares that haunt them, and the only way to overcome them is to face your fears and like come to terms with them. So everybody that plays Destiny went on exposure therapy for the past 6 weeks, um, learning to find healthy ways to deal with shame and with guilt and with rage, and then it all came together as sort of like a catharsis, which was actually the name of the mission, like last week.
Wow.
So the story just wrapped up for the season, and now there's going to be 40-ish days of nothing, which is kind of like the Destiny cadence. It's like you finish the story and then you play for plays, right?
Okay.
And then some bad person will do a bad thing, and then we kick back up and we go and shoot them in the face.
It's a good cadence. Every 40
Yeah.
every 40 days, shoot a bad guy in the face.
It's usually seasons usually have a 90-day cadence, but I will say this was some of their best work. Like in terms of like, I don't know, Susan, did you play through everything?
You know, I'm shamefully behind on this season. I actually am only about halfway through the story content. So no.
Wow.
Yeah, I know. It's
How'd you catch
got away
up?
from me. I really do.
You've been busy drawing for charity. It's
true.
completely understandable.
All those Uno games take so long.
For the past month and a half, I've just been doing around-the-clock drawing and Uno.
Right.
But it's for the kids.
Of course.
Absolutely.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah, I don't know if you all know, but Rami actually Sherpa'd me into Destiny. I wanted to play the game, but I think that's how we really connected was I didn't know where to start, and I said, hey, Rami, I don't know you at all, but maybe you want to play some Destiny? and we did. And here we are.
It's
Now,
one of the few things he doesn't say no to.
I will
It's like,
never
hey,
say no
Rami.
to anybody. Go. Yep.
Yeah. Hey, Rami, you want to play Destiny? Or, hey, Rami, do you want some food? He will never say no to either of these
Right.
questions.
God knows. Or do you want to teach me Flight Simulator? Because I did that once.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's true.
Right, Osama?
Yes, you did, and I didn't crash much. To my credit,
Much.
right? Much.
To be fair, there were only 2 opportunities for you to crash.
Yes, and I only crashed one of them, which is really
Uh-huh.
good, right?
That's
And
50%. That's 50%.
Yeah, and I landed in one of the hardest airports to land in the world. You said so yourself.
That's true. That's
Yeah,
true.
it was an
That's
ugly
true.
landing, but it was a landing. And any landing you could walk away from is a good one, right?
Is a good landing. Tell that to my pilot on my flight here to Brighton, because my God, was that an ugly landing? Oh my
no.
God.
Oh no. Those are good times,
Rami
actually.
now critiques flights, I think. He doesn't only
Oh.
enjoy it. He's like, that takeoff was a 7 for me.
Right. But also, now when there's like a really good takeoff, you're like, wow,
Yep.
that was a good takeoff. And everybody else is just like, the airplane took off. And I'm like,
Butter takeoff.
Yeah.
just so good. So good. Just so smooth. Like,
You don't even know you're in the air yet. Yeah. Those
I
happen.
had a really funny one. I was in Florence last week. Well, I was in Pisa in Italy, but the airfield I flew from was Florence because KLM, my airline, has a connection to Florence. But Florence is a really short runway, so we drove to the runway, and then the pilot came on the intercom, and they were like, "Hi, so just we can't take off because the wind is coming from the wrong way, and this runway is so short that if the wind isn't coming from exactly the right way, we don't have enough runway. So we're just gonna we can't tell you when it's gonna happen, but when we start rolling again, that's when it happens. So just sit back, relax, and it might be 20 minutes, it might be an hour. We'll see when we get there."
That's funny.
wow.
And I was in the airplane doing weight and balance calculations and practicing that stuff for my exam, and I was like, very, very practical application of the stuff I'm learning.
That's amazing.
That's very
Yeah, that was
cool.
fun.
Wow.
Did you predict it
That's very
when the wheels would start moving?
No, because
Oh.
I can't see the wind from in the airplane, so that was So
Yeah,
yeah, that was
you're
fun.
missing some variables there.
That's funny.
Great.
Osama, yeah, like a minute ago when you were talking about the Steam Deck, you mentioned Neon White. I've been hearing a lot about this game, so I'm very curious to see if you've like. What do you think? You
Yeah,
played it, you said a couple of hours or something.
I did. I did. I played a couple of hours, which is like maybe 10 missions, 12 missions. I forget how many, because you redo the missions a few times to try to get a good score. So the idea behind it
Yeah,
is it's a first person shooter puzzle game. And you're trying to get the best time to get through a gauntlet, essentially, while shooting things and parkouring and making your way up. The interesting thing about it is that you pick up cards, and these cards often have two abilities: one that lets you do a thing, and the other that, if you burn the card, if you get rid of it, lets you do another thing. So far, I'm still early in the game, so I assume more things are going to come. But so far, what I have as second abilities are like a super double jump, so like to reach areas that you couldn't reach before, so you're constantly looking around to see if you could find a shortcut or something else. And the other one is an explosion that could doesn't kill you, so you could also use it to propel yourself or to open up different pathways. So I'm still early in the game. As I said, I didn't have a lot of time with my Steam Deck so far, but I'm enjoying it. If I could say gameplay wise, it's exactly what I expected from how other people described it to me. It's really just that. It's like a gauntlet first, but it feels good while you're playing. Um, Narratively, thematically, it's not exactly my cup of tea, but that doesn't get in the way. Like the theme is like it's about blasphemy in heaven, demons and angels, with a Japanese demon aesthetic, like Oni aesthetic. It's not bad. I don't dislike it. It's just not for me exactly. And then the writing is a little. This is going to be harsh, a little juvenile, a little,
mm.
cutesy, and what have you. So it's definitely someone else's cup of tea. It's not bad in any respect, but it doesn't get in the way of the gameplay. I skip the dialogue, jump to the gameplay. I'm enjoying it. I'm having a good time. And I think Rami played it too, so maybe he has a completely different
Yeah, I'm
opinion
playing
about the
it.
theme and the narrative.
Honestly, very similar about the theme and the narrative. Like I enjoy the writing, but I also agree that it's very like like every now and then you're like, okay, yeah, okay. But it's very much in the style of the characters, so I think it's very genuine. It's very sincere. It's just also not my cup of tea, but the gameplay is really good, and so the cards are effectively your weapons, and you also burn your cards by using their ammo. So you're continuously sort of balancing whether you shoot enemies or whether you use your ability or whether you're like you can only carry two cards, so you want to burn them before you get to the next card. And then there's this really clever system that they have where when you beat a level, you get a medal, and it can be bronze, silver, gold, or ace. If you get to progress, you need to get at least gold on X amount of levels. So there's really a reason to go back and like do levels again if you haven't hit that. But then also, as you play, you unlock insight per level. And basically, what insight is, it gives you more information on how to beat the level. So at the first insight, you get nothing. At the second insight, it enables a ghost of your best performance. So you can actually optimize against yourself at that point. At the third level of insight into a level, you get a hint on how you could do it faster. And there'll be a shiny thing in the level that's just like, if you can reach me, you're going to do a shortcut. And it's usually a very good hint. Um, and the final one, you've done it, so there's nothing extra you get. Besides, I think, a leaderboard where you can compete for the best times. So it's just very cleverly built. It's a speedrunner game for not speedrunners,
Yeah, that's a good way of
which
putting
is
it.
really cool.
Yeah.
Yes, if you're a speedrunner, you can have a great time with this. But if you're not a speedrunner, it feels more like a puzzle game.
Mhm.
And that's really cool. Like, I love that sort of switch in the context where it's like, okay, I'm going to burn this card to do that. Oh, no, wait. If I keep that card and not use it, then I can maybe use it for this jump later on. And the abilities get more intense than the ones Osama described, but I don't want to spoil them because they're
Please
some
don't.
really fun
I'm
ones.
gonna keep playing. Yeah.
So, Ben
I figured there
Esposito,
was
like,
more that was going to come than just
oh, yeah, there's
the
way
handful
more.
of cards. Yeah.
And then as you meet the characters more, they also will give you specific subquests that are themed to that character. So one of them is sort of like this very brutal character, and their levels are basically like pain. like they're like millimeter work. If you go like 1 millimeter off the path, you die. That kind of stuff. And then one of them is just like only use guns, and one of them is like only use the abilities. And so there's a lot of like fun things they do.
Yeah.
But I think my favorite thing is that every level is used to its absolute potential. So you don't just have your golden path, the way to get to the finish. You also have the fastest path. But then there's also the path that you need to get the gift that is hidden in every level. Every level has a gift. And to collect it, you usually have to play the level in a completely different way. Not about hurrying, but like about managing your cards, making sure you don't like shoot enemies you don't have to shoot. Because normally you have to kill every enemy to unlock the exit. But for the gift, you just go. You just run. You just, okay, don't kill these enemies. Don't get that thing. Don't grab that item. Don't jump there. The gift is up there. How do I get there? And it just completely changed the game. So I always wished Ben Esposito would make a game that was for me, because Dota County, I love how clever it is, but it isn't for me. And basically every time Ben made a game, that was my feeling. And Neon White is like, the narrative isn't for me, but oh my god, the game is like, just, it's my stuff. Like, feed me more Neon White. This is great.
I feel the same way. What I feel about it goes in the category of evergreen games for me. A game that just stays installed, and once in a while I'll have the urge to just perfect a level, go back to it. It feels like that kind of game for me. Like, not a thing I have necessarily the desire to complete right away, but more something that stays fun for a really long time.
Super cool. I'm curious to try it out now.
Yeah, I think you'll like it.
Talking about it.
I played another game that I think you really like.
Tell me.
It's called DNF Duel. Have you heard of it?
DNF Duel. No.
Is
DNF short for something?
I think Dungeon Fighter, something like that.
Okay.
So basically, it's an ArcSys fighting game. Makers of Blaze Blue, and it's the next one.
Wow.
I need. Yes.
Okay.
I missed that. I missed this happening.
Yes, it's a big deal. It is very different, gorgeous game, really cool. Like, generally for ArcSys games, I really love their gameplay. I'm not a big fan of their character designs. That's where I fall into it. I find anyway, usually that's the case. In this case, I think it's more a little bit inverted the other way around. I feel the gameplay, I haven't spent enough time to give it a conclusive thing, but it's different enough from other fighters that I couldn't just pick up and play it. Like, I had there were mental blocks where I was like running into walls, and I'll explain why. So it's a 4-button fighter. You have a light attack and a heavy attack or a medium attack, and then it has a special attack, and then it has a super special attack. So it's different than what you would expect. The light, you press it, and it has like 3 variations. Almost every character only has 3 variations. There are very few exceptions, which is 1 variation in the air, on the ground, and crouching. That's it. So doing quarter circle motions, holding it, doing whatever to the light attack does nothing. Very few characters, if you mash it, it does like a target combo or like, an automatic combo. The medium, same thing. No special moves, no anything. You just have, medium range or hard. I forget what they call it, but like the heavier one. Then the special attack, all your specials come out of that one. And it's just direction and input. So if you do forward and the special attack, you'll do your uppercut. If you do back and special attack, you might do a fireball, that kind of thing. All of them are mapped to this one button. And then the super special, because there's a MP bar, so magic power bar, like HP MP, and it's constantly charging up. If you use the super special, it works exactly the same way as a special, except it drains your MP. And if you have no more MP left, then it does nothing. Mm-hmm. And all of that is the problem that I had, is mapping my head to the input scheme. I constantly am trying to do things that don't work, or like mashing the MP button because I'm not looking at the bar or what have you, because it works so different than other games. Different, but simple. It's not complex. I should be able to pick it up, because there's no archetype of a game. I can't be like, oh, this is like Tekken, except for this, or this is like Street Fighter, except for that.
It's reminding me a bit of Dragon Ball Fighter Z, but just even more simplified.
Dragon Ball Fighter C is kind of like Marvel versus Capcom, but
Yeah.
like it has the same magic combo. It has like an extra button that does different things. Like this is, you're right. You're not wrong. It's kind of like that, but with you, it's stripped down even more. Where if you
Right.
try to do like with Dragon Ball Fighter Z, you jump in, you play like Marvel vs. Capcom, and you'll get things done, and then you'll learn on top
Right.
of that. This, you try to do that, you're gonna get smacked in the face. Things are just
Okay.
not gonna happen. You're gonna be like, what? Why
This
is
one
this
for
not-"
me because I'm terrible at all of the fighting games, but here I have a chance against you.
Yeah, you'll definitely have a chance against me. I actually picked up
Nice.
accidentally the most difficult character in the game, and I was frustrated for the first 45 minutes before I actually was able to do something. I'm like, okay, I'm starting to like this character. Switch to another character, and I'm like, okay, this is much easier. So I'm not
Right.
sure if it's because I got more used to the input scheme, but I looked it up later, and they're like, the character is called the Grappler. I play grapple characters, so I was like,
Right.
Huggers.
but there's like no half circle movements, no quarter circle movements. It's just a button to grab, and
Right.
the grab range is short. Like it's just not what you expect. It breaks a whole bunch of different archetypes, but in a simple way that you should be able to just say, "Oh, this is how you do it." Except forget all the muscle memory that you've been building up for years and years and years. So it's gorgeous. I see a lot of potential. I think I'm going to learn to love it. But if you play fighting games, I predict you're going to have a harder time at first than people who don't play fighting games, simply because it throws all that away. And
Very
apparently, it's
interesting.
based on a Korean dungeon crawler game. Basically, it's like they created a game with those characters. That's why all of the characters don't have first names. They're all classes, right? They're
Yeah.
grappler, inquisitor, and fighter. I think whatever those kind of like the classes are the names of the characters. Although they look like characters and they have voices and they don't look like generic, whatever. I really
Right.
like the character designs in it. The voiceover is Korean. It's not Japanese, which is not a thing you normally see. It's Korean with English
Oh,
subtitles.
Wow.
Yeah, like the sensibilities are different. It's different, and I'm really enjoying it. At the same time, there's a lot of pain to get to that point.
Okay.
So
It sounds like they broke a lot of tropes, but there
yes,
must be some tropes that still remain. So, Osama, maybe we'll play this Does It Have game that we did the other
I
day.
love this game. Bring it.
Yeah. All right. Let me try to make it up.
Yeah.
Is it anime?
Yes.
Okay. Does it have a dude in a karate suit?
Yes.
It has to be a fighting game. If there's a dude in a karate
Absolutely.
suit. Is there either a special motion or super or something that freezes time, blacks the background, and then sparks show up before this executes?
Every character has one of those. Yeah. It's
That's
a
pretty
super
good.
move. Yeah.
I don't like. Is there like a super move that triggers a character portrait that takes half the screen as this is happening?
It's a close up that does that, so it's close
A
enough.
close up.
Yeah. But the,
That's
the,
pretty
the interesting thing about the super moves is they're only activatable if you're down to 30%. So their super moves are also comeback mechanics, 30% health.
Okay. You
Which
can
is
block in this
that's
game.
very
Yes,
that's
you
very
can eat.
explicit.
This
Very
is the
explicit.
interesting thing again is there's a
Uh-huh.
dedicated block button, but you can
Ooh.
also hold back.
There's both.
There's both.
Okay. You know, like we're speaking about muscle memory and stuff like that. I'm just so used to fighting games with back as block that I just can't play games with block as a button. So
Me
like
too.
I was never managed to get into Virtual Fighter or Soul Calibur, for example.
Yeah.
Like lots of respect for both of these games. Like I watching them and I know what's going on, but I can't play them for the life of me.
I can play Soul Calibur. It is hard with Virtua Fighter and Mortal Kombat. For some reason,
Yeah, Mortal Kombat too.
yeah, I can do the Soul Calibur one, but not. This is interesting because the block button has multiple uses. If you hold forward and then press block, you do the King of Fighters roll, but only
Okay.
forward. So it's like, yeah,
Uh-huh.
if you hold back and press block, then you block. And if you just hold back, then it's contextual block, only if they're attacking you.
Okay.
So you could force
And
a
there's-
block by pressing the button, or you could do contextual block.
Interesting. I want to check this game out. Is it
You
2D looking 3D or is
Yes.
it the pure 2D?
It, like you
okay.
could drag and drop the characters from it to like Guilty Gears or
Guilty Gear. So
yeah.
it's like using that thing. That thing is like
Gorgeous.
since the first time I saw it till now, it's still so impressive.
Yes.
Like I still remember that jaw-dropping moment in which like I'm playing this game and then like the round ends and the camera starts to go around. And I like at that point realize that it's 3D and I go like, oh my God, how did they do this?
I was convinced it was fake in the trailer. I couldn't believe that someone pulled it off. And until and I saw the game and I played the game and I'm like, I don't understand how this worked. And then I saw the GDC talk about how they did it. And I'm like, this is brilliant. This is brilliant. Like
really breakthrough tech for its time, and I'm glad that they're still doing it and building on it.
I really wish that other companies would follow suit and do something similar because I think that is like it could have applications, wide applications, not just fighting games. It doesn't need to be just restricted.
Yeah.
Susan, do you want to talk about your favorite Destiny exotic for 10 minutes? Because I think this is.
We need to balance out the fighting game.
I've not followed any part. Like this is awesome, but I have no idea what just happened. I'm just sitting there like, that good fighting. Yeah. It's like I like Virtua Fighter. I had no idea that Virtua Fighter and Mortal Kombat are in a bucket together. I had no idea. Stuff I'm learning here. This is the most educational podcast about fighting games I've ever heard.
I love it.
Oh yeah, Susan, have you been playing anything?
I have. So here's the question: what is the statute of limitations on spoilers for Inscription?
Okay,
are we out of the danger zone?
So we can just tell people if you don't want to be spoiled, just skip from this point till the point we say in the show notes, and they'll come back.
Yes. And then inshallah, Osama will make sure there's show notes.
Yes, inshallah.
I have a 33% hit rate for show notes. It's not bad.
Yes.
Yeah. Otherwise, scan around randomly, and inshallah, you won't hear spoilers.
Right. Some critical word that just ruins everything.
Yeah. And if you're showing this live,
Yeah, sorry.
It's your
Pause it.
Sorry. If you're watching this live, now would be a great time to mute the stream and go to our Tiltify link, which you can find in chat, and donate to Child's Play charity to help kids get better when they're recovering in hospitals from really difficult situations. Boom.
Wow.
We did it.
I like it.
Smooth.
Wow, love it.
This is like an Osama level transition.
Yeah, but you didn't call it out, so that's the only thing that was missing. But you did.
We did.
That's why I went and called it out.
Oh,
yes. We got this.
This is how I know I've made it in this industry, is that I got to do a transition on the Habibis podcast.
A butter segue, as we like to call it.
Speaking of butter segues, I don't know. Inscription has some really surprising twists and turns.
Wow, that was a pretty good butter segue.
Yes.
Okay. Wow,
I love it.
I'm very impressed.
I hesitated. I thought of myself there. I finally got around to picking up Inscription. I hesitated on it for a long time. I'm really bad about playing new games. I tend to kind of replay things that I'm familiar with. Same with TV and music. It's like comfort food to me. But I had heard so much about this game. Everybody I respect is just raving about it and wouldn't tell me anything, which I guess is the the ethically correct thing to do. So
we're not going to do that right now.
No. No, definitely not. Spoilers ahead. So I picked it up and, immediately was really charmed by the aesthetic. Definitely enjoy those creepy horror vibes and the way that they use that. I don't know what you would call that style, like that pixelated style. So I started it and I put it right back down because I'm not very good at deck building games. And the stoat was being really mean to me. And I learned later that he's mean to everyone, no matter how you're doing. But
stoat is such a character.
Yeah. But picked it back up and really enjoyed. It really kept me in because of the aesthetic and kind of the unlocking the cabin and the world around you. That meta piece I'm really an explorer kind of player in games. I really want to check out every nook and cranny, and I want to see all of the things that the designers made. And so this game is really perfect in that way for me. So only recently did I kind of move past the initial phase and into, I guess it's spoilers, right? Into that like larger RPG world. And so I'm still there. The deck building is just really difficult for me. I'm just not very good at it. And I don't have the patience to learn, I think. So this might be one of those things similar to what you were just saying, where I put it down for a while and then curiosity drives me back. So far, I've avoided spoilers pretty well, and so there's still this element of really wanting to know how deep does it go. Yeah. So that's been really fun. And then when it came up in the podcast previously, you all mentioned Pony Island. So have all three of you played that?
I have not played Pony Island.
Okay, so then I'll stay.
You've not played Pony Island?
I have not played Pony Island. It's been on my back.
Check it out.
I own it. It's in the many games that I will play someday.
Hey, Osama!
Yeah,
hey, Osama!
Yo, don't tell Daniel. He'll get mad at me, but I have not played it. I haven't had the chance. That's all.
Yeah,
it's in the spoiler territory, so hopefully Daniel's skipping this part too. So
okay, well then I won't get too far into it. I think it's already been mentioned that it's the same, same team or similar team at least, and there are some overlapping themes, but I'm really enjoying that as well. That's where I'll leave it. Really enjoying that as well. Have just started that a couple days ago. So those are the two things apart from Destiny where I'm spending time.
I have a fun fact. Yeah. So at GDC this year, I was supposed to be moderating a narrative panel. The narrative panel was going to have Ren from Unpacking, Greg from Sable, and Daniel from Inscription. And Ren and Greg canceled because they caught COVID. And so it was the Inscription Daniel narrative panel. And I got a full hour to talk to Daniel about Inscription. And cool. I just have to say, what a lovely human being. So down to earth, so kind, temperate in his mannerisms. Yeah, just a fun fact. I hosted an Inscription panel, or moderated an Inscription panel.
So kind about you admitting that you never played Pony Island.
I didn't. Stop saying that. You might hear it. It's on my list. I was super excited for it. I was even spoiled one or two tiny things, and I haven't gotten around to it. It's in the same pile as To the Moon, the games that everyone gets flabbergasted that I haven't played yet, that I intend to play, just haven't gotten around to it. And look, I see Fawzi's visible discomfort.
I think it's like narrative-wise, it's one of my favorite games of all time. That's why, like, To the Moon is one of the best stories in games, I think.
That's the thing. I don't need convincing. It's on my list. But you know how long my list is? It's ridiculous.
It's a pretty long list.
Yeah.
Yeah, but prioritize this one, Osama. You won't regret it.
Right.
Wait, Pony Island or To the Moon?
To the Moon. Like, I love Pony Island for sure. Prioritize that, but To the Moon is something special.
Up there. Yep.
I own it like 3 times, by the way. Like,
yeah.
I think I got it in a humble bundle. I already had it on Steam. I got it on itch.io.
It's one of those games that I like. I put it on a laptop or something, and then just put it in front of someone and go like, play it, play this.
Good.
It's very special.
I'm downloading it to my Steam Deck right now.
Nice. Oh, I think you can finish it within a battery life. No, maybe
probably
maybe one run and a couple of power banks.
Right.
You can get through this game.
I will
say I'm really excited about getting the Steam Deck. Mine is here at Q3, but I ordered pretty late, and so I don't know when it will actually get here. But I think that it will help with games on Steam. It'll help me branch out a lot more, because I found that with the Switch, that a lot of games I was interested in but wasn't willing to sit down at my computer for like extended periods of time.
Yep.
I'm really excited to pick up on the Switch and play in smaller chunks or play while traveling. And so I have a pretty big Steam backlog as well. And I think a game like Inscription or Pony Island or other things will be more accessible for me if I can chip away at it and I don't continually hit the same wall because I'm having trouble with something. Yeah. So I'm really excited for that element.
I have over 1,000 unplayed games on Steam.
Ooh.
Yeah, and of them, at least 100 or 200 I actually intend to play. So, that's my retirement plan. I guess I'll get there eventually.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of, yeah, Rami.
Fawzi, have you been playing anything?
Yeah, so I've been playing a lot of a game that I've been working on.
Oh,
I
cool.
think just a couple of weeks ago we've released the release date announcement trailer. So I'm pretty excited about this one. So it's the new Mario and Rabbids game, Mario and Rabbids Sparks of Hope. So this is the latest game I've
Yes.
been working on, and we've released an extensive showcase around the game. So like more details about the gameplay and all of this, and the release date that is coming out on October 20th this year. So as you
Fawzi,
can
you're
probably tell,
working on a Mario game.
I know, man, it's wild. I have to pinch myself
That's
sometimes. And
huge.
it's also my first Switch game as well. So that will basically,
Already?
yeah, that will be the first game I make on the Switch. But
You're the
also
closest thing my kids have to an uncle who works at Nintendo.
yeah, pretty much an uncle that talks to Nintendo a lot.
Yeah,
But
close
yeah, pretty psyched about this game. I can't wait for people to get a hold of it. And like I said, my first Switch game that will be the last of the consoles. Like so, all the previous gen and current gen consoles, I have games on those things, and the Switch was the only one that I missed, and now this one's coming
Wow.
only on Switch. So it's pretty excited. Also, for me, it's quite a breath of fresh air to make a game for a one console. Like last time it was I don't know, like if you count the max specs and the min spec PC, it was 9 different machines that I needed to test on. That wasn't. That was a lot of work, but yeah, like this one's like making a game for one dedicated console is super, man. It's a pretty good difference. So yeah, I'm pretty excited that we've released like new information about the game. We spoke about the composers also that working on the game, including Yoko Shimomura, that she's been writing music for the game. So that's pretty exciting.
That's incredible.
Yeah, so I can't wait till, as usual, like now with the march towards the launch. So you guys know what it is. It's like a lot of a lot of nerves, a lot of like making sure everything falls into place. A lot of like before you go to bed, prayers go like, oh Allah, please. Let everything line up and all of this, but yeah, I'm
so excited for that game. It's going to be day one purchase. I won't lie, I was a little hesitant or about the first game before playing it because I was like, I don't know if this is going to work out. Then I played it and I fell in love right away.
It was so good.
So good. Well done. Really, really a well executed game. Absolutely loved it. Couldn't put it down until I finished it.
It's been some time since the first one. The first one came in 2017. And then there was like a bunch of DLCs and stuff. So like it's a lot of people have been waiting for a sequel. It was like one of those like unlikely combinations that somehow worked. So I think that also adds to the pressure of making a game like this. So now like we've set the precedent and we need to work towards.
That's so hard to follow up on.
Yeah,
but I believe in you. You're gonna do it.
It's a very talented team that's working on this. It's been an absolute pleasure to work with these guys. So yeah, I can't wait till the game comes out and I hear what y'all have to think, of course, and the players as well. So yeah, that's a game I've been playing a lot of and probably will be playing a lot of for the next couple of months.
Love it.
But yeah, that was pretty much it. For me, games wise, I don't think I've been playing anything else. I've been like focused other than of course like the impending launch. I was focused on a lot of personal stuff. Like there's a lot of family issues that I've been like working on. It's taken a lot of my time, and that actually maybe we can talk about in another episode because I think it has an interesting cultural dimension that we can spend some time discussing. But yeah, that's it on for me. Like that's the major point I'm going to be touching on.
That was pretty much it for me as well. Unless you want to hear about my canoeing adventures,
Canoeing? You went canoeing?
Let's
I
hear
told
about
you
the
we had
canoeing
kayaks
adventures
and
before
we
we
had
put a doily
canoes.
in this one.
All right, really quickly. So
Also, sorry, before we put a doily on that, Fawzi, you posted a video about how doilies can be used, and I want to talk about that
yes,
for a second.
yes. All
Oh
right,
yeah, no, of course, let's do that.
that was
But first, the
incredible.
canoes.
So I love canoeing. We had, like, as I mentioned
You
before,
love
we had
canoes? I have no. This is all
You
news
love
to me.
canoeing?
really, I
Oh,
really
first
love
time I hear
canoeing.
this.
I absolutely
Oh, yeah.
love it. I'm not too big on fishing. So one of my favorite things to do is to go with someone who likes fishing in a canoe. They're fishing, and I'm talking to them while they fish. That I love. But the thing is, this specific time I did something with a canoe that I hadn't done before. The river that was right next to us, that was right next to the chalet that we bordered on, there was an island in the middle of the river, and it was pretty big. It's a pretty big river. It's an uninhabited island. And so we asked the lady that we rented the chalet from, are we able to go there? She's like, yeah, you can go. It's a pretty big island, but it's an island and there's nothing there, no civilization. And she said, see if you could spot the 200-year-old tree. So we went there, like, like stopped our canoe in the shallow water, pulled it up to the island, walked around, and we found this massive tree that looks like 4 trees intertwined with each other, untouched by man. The whole island is untouched by man. Also, this island had the biggest spiders I've ever seen, like a non-tarantula, almost the size of a tarantula, and
Wow.
the biggest dragonfly I've ever seen. This is where the bugs are like, oh, there's no humans here. This is where we
Welcome
can go.
to Jurassic Park.
Yeah,
I was
pretty
about to say,
much.
like, even the start of the story sounded like a horror story. Where it's like the lady tells you,
Yeah.
go to this uninhabited island with this one-way vehicle and then
Yeah.
find the 200-year-old thingy. I'd be like, lady, I don't know who you were. I don't know if you're real. I don't know if you're a ghost. I'm going the
I
other
don't know
way.
if I'm awake.
There's just one hilarious thing. There was absolutely zero signs of civilization except for those white Walmart chairs that you could buy for your. There was just
Oh my
one
God.
there that we're like, what is this doing here? How did it get here? Otherwise, there was no sign of, and it was like put like in a strategic place so you could look at the giant tree. So it's not that it like washed up on shore. No, someone went there. Is like, this is where I'm sitting on this otherwise uninhabited island.
I mean, what if the spider spotted? I'm sure.
It's possible. Those spiders swim too, by the way. Yeah.
Oh God, no.
Yes,
no.
we saw it jump into the water to escape us and swim away. It's
Oh
incredible.
my
No,
God.
nope. I
Did
did
you
not
happen
want
to
to know
pack a flamethrower in the canoe?
this.
Well, it was running away
undo
from
this
us.
conversation. I'm out. I'm done. I did not want to know spiders can swim.
Yeah, well,
know,
I
like
don't know if they
a,
all can.
I once was not in a canoe. What's the other one in which you can have 2 people and you can use the row that has the two the paddle that has the 2 sides?
So the
It's
rowboat.
not the canoe.
Kayak.
Rowboat.
It's
right?
not the kayak. Yes, that's the one. Yeah,
Oh,
I was in
kayak
the
is one person usually.
Oh, we were
There are
2
tandem
in that kayak.
Oh,
There are 2
cool.
people kayaks, right?
Yeah.
I was in New Zealand, and we were in an area called Cathedral Cove. It's a beautiful area in the North Island, and I think it's where they shot some scenes from Narnia, if you remember that movie. Beautiful place. And it was me and this dude. We were in this kayak, and there's a lot of natural caves in the water. So we're going through those caves and stuff like that. We were like far from the ocean. And the dude like decided to park the kayak, and he wanted to smoke a cigarette. So like sitting there, I was like smoking cigarettes, like, oh, what a beautiful day and all of this. And I'm like looking around, going like, all right, I'll let this guy chill and just look around. And then I saw like a black fin appear from the water and then go back in. I was like, this can't be good. And then I looked around me again, and I saw another one.
Oh my
And then I
God.
quickly realized that we are surrounded by a school of orcas.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So I was like, freaking out at this point. And I was like, Paul, do you see this? I was
Oh,
like,
no.
these guys are harmless. Super chill, like Kiwi dude. And it's like, yeah, these guys are harmless. There's no problem. And then, like, one of the orcas kind of like come and bumped into the kayak, kind of tried to test it.
Wow.
I was like, Paul, we're getting out of here. And I've never rowed this fast back to the beach. But luckily, that's the extent of it. Like only the one test in which like it wiggled the kayak a little bit, but like not another orca that like tried. Oh, let's try to flip these guys over or anything like
Right.
that. That was pretty freaky.
Yeah. It's a little scarier than my spider story.
Just a
Oh.
little. The spider,
Oh,
the
the
spider
orca
that
is
can
like
swim
big and it
is
will murder
terrifying.
you.
Yes, a spider that can swim would be able to catch you. Also, even if you jump out of the kayak, that's terrifying.
Right. Yeah, I don't want that. Nope.
I'll take the orca any day, right, Rami?
I'll take the orca
give
over
me
the
the
spider.
orca.
Over a swimming spider and a giant dragonfly that the spider can mount on and then chase me in flight.
It covers all 3 levels: air, land, and sea.
Oh no!
Yeah.
Imagine like the spiders are like parachuting from the giant dragonfly.
No escape.
Nope.
There are.
No,
Do you know what?
gosh.
Do you know what? Cancel. This. Class.
None of that. No.
The
On
doily
the brighter
video, though.
topic, yeah, the doily video. Like, let's change the topic to a little less life-threatening.
A little bit.
Yeah, I saw this person on Twitter. They're baking bread, and then they put a doily on the bread to create like these ornaments.
The pattern.
And like, I've now forever believed that doilies are useful. Who's to say doilies are useful? It's clearly very useful to create those shapes on bread.
I'm sure you could use it to paint as well. You could find other uses for it other than putting it on a PlayStation.
It's almost like a contest premise. What uses could you come up with the doilies? Please create something and send us to our magazine on our fan page.
I love it.
Oh,
One of the comments I had from the video, one person was like, "I can almost smell the TV shelf."
Layel, who's one of the mods on the Habibis channel, posted a video of. Did you ever see that video? It's like a short one. It goes like disguise level Egyptian drama, TV drama. Did you see that one?
No, but that sounds great.
It is great. I forgot.
Wait, there's the one with the mustache. Yes, I have
with the
seen
mustache.
The one with the mustache.
It's like it's a guy with a disguise, and he has like this big fake mustache, and he pulls it off, and then under the mustache is exactly the same mustache but slightly smaller, and then the person he like tears it off, and he does this smile of like, I got you, and then the other guy's like, no, it's in complete disbelief. I had never seen this. I don't know what TV series it's from. If there's any Egyptians watching, Osama, tell me what it was, because it killed me.
I need to know if this is a comedy or a drama. I need to know if it's played for laughs or if
it's
it's
a
serious.
drama, I think, and that's why
It's
it's
a
so
drama,
hilarious.
100%.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's a drama. Like on that note, there was this video. I think it was like a news bulletin video, and it was like an interview with an Iraqi guy. I don't know what his role, but he was talking about like the political, what do you call it, voting. So it's talking about voting boxes and like moving boxes around. So the guy's like saying, you move the boxes, you drop the boxes. And like, he's talking about that like very personal, like, and then like there was the caption on top that says Death Stranding review. I was like, moving boxes. And the guy's like, شيل الصناديق حط الصناديق يلعن أبوكم على.
That is so
and it's just
funny.
like cursing because about moving boxes all the time, and just the caption said like Death Stranding review.
That is too funny.
Amazing.
Maybe we'll put a link to
nothing-
those videos on the show notes.
Yes,
I
please.
still think the best video from the entire culture must be that Ramadan video of the guy walking into the kitchen and is slipping over a tennis ball, and then the tennis ball flies around the room, and it hits like a piece of chicken that falls into the guy's mouth, and then he eats it, and then the ball bounces around, and it hits like a knife that falls onto an apple, and then half the apple falls into the guy's mouth, and then it bounces around and hits like a giant water cooler, and the water falls into the guy's mouth, and then it cuts to a sheikh on TV or an imam on TV, and you just hear the phone call, and it's just like, "Ya sheikh, listen, I today I slipped over a tennis ball, and I accidentally ate like half a chicken with tahini and like nus tufah and like yani 3 liters mai." And he was like, 3 liters of water. He's like, "So did I break my fast or can I continue?" And the sheikh just looked. The sheikh just gives this look to the camera. This is like, what? And it is probably every year it comes out in Ramadan, and every year I just die at the video.
It's so good.
Like it's so funny because it's true. It was always like when Ramadan is happening, there's like I'll be like commuting to work or like in a taxi or whatever, and there'll be like the commute radio shows and there's some of these radio shows in which people phone in to call the sheikh about like, can I do that and something like this. And there's always every year, every Ramadan, probably 5 to 6 times, there'll be a dude calling in. I was like, I was asleep and I accidentally rolled over the bed and my mouth just ate some food that happened to be there. Is my fast okay or not? Or like, or somebody like slapped a guy against a tree and then some dates fell off and I just happened to eat 3 of them. Is that okay?
It is hilarious. How come these things never happen to me, Fawzi?
How often do you walk around palm trees? Osama? That's why. Maybe you should take walks around palm trees more often.
You should see my kitchen.
Tennis balls.
There are tennis balls everywhere in my kitchen. It's never happened. Not once. I have 3 kids. This is a normal occurrence.
You only step on Legos, Osama. That's
and that never results in food.
More.
Yeah.
You have to fast more. Pray for God to send more tennis balls your way instead of Legos.
You got it.
Did we wish everybody happy Eid last episode? I wasn't here for it.
We didn't.
We did not. It wasn't
We should.
yet.
Yeah. So we should. So like for everybody listening, happy Eid, Eid al-Adha, Adha Mubarak.
Eid Mubarak.
Eid Mubarak.
I was so happy to capture a little bit of that while I was in Jordan before flying back.
Yeah.
I forget like the festivities and everybody getting ready, the long lines on barbershop. Not that I've been to one in decades, but
when I went to Abu Dhabi, I went to a barbershop. Just because I missed that experience of going to
a part of the
barbershop.
sightseeing experience.
Yes,
Like, I wonder what they look like over there.
I don't know, but the guy looked at me like, really?
What do you want?
It's like, I'm a barbershop. I can't do miracles.
I take off the hair. I can't put it back.
Yeah, I remove it. I don't put it back. Like, what do you want?
The party shop is next door if you want a wig or something.
He like cleaned up my beard a little. Cleaned up my beard. That was it. But it was a nice experience. I just love the barbershop in an Arab country experience and the conversations that happens and all the political talk and all those stuff.
Right. The barbershop is like really the most like, it's like the closest thing we have to like the Christian like confession booth. Only instead of like a priest, it's your barber. It's like, last week I did this thing. It was bad.
You don't say.
And they're like sitting with a knife to your like throat. So you're like, well, if I really messed up, I guess. Yeah.
No, like I think for maybe it's just the same in Egypt, but like barber shops in Jordan, they're like the neighborhood bulletin board. So like if you're looking for an apartment to rent, an apartment you don't know, you just park at the barber shop and you go in. If there's any apartments for rent nearby, they will always know. You know, if there's any jobs around, they will know.
Right.
You know, like I want to know where to go. They will always know. And
Yep.
then you have to fight your way out of not having a coffee or a tea. Like, stay for the coffee. It's like, no, I need to go. And then all of this. But they are like the people that are in the know. It's because, you know, so many people sit on the confession chair.
Yes.
And, and they get to know so much about what's going on in the neighborhood that they are the point of contact.
But people are like relentlessly honest to their barber. It's like I don't know why that happened, but it's like a cultural thing. Like people will just everything.
Yeah.
You sit there and you're like, oh my God, are you okay? My Western sensibilities wouldn't talk about that in public, but okay, yalla, tfaddal. Go ahead.
It's a safe space with a lot of sharp things.
Right. Safe space where one person has particular ability to like cut lots of things. Yeah.
Speaking of barbers knowing how to find anything, Susan, how can people find you?
Sure. Well, so that was incredible. Let me just do a quick shout out to that segue.
Take a bow.
Yeah, that's very good. So for me personally, easiest way is on Twitter. My handle is Brosephene. I don't know if that's going to be I don't know how to spell that out loud or what, but more importantly, if you would like to find the charity, Draw for Charity, we throw you a little bit of a curveball in that Twitter, we couldn't get that handle. So on Twitter, it's Charity Draw 4, and that's the number 4. And then Twitch and other places, it's Draw for Charity. And for Child's Play, you can go to childsplaycharity.org and learn more about what they're doing. So I'd send you those places first, but I'm around as well.
Awesome. Rami, we need to quickly reserve Habibis Da on Twitter. We have the Habibis. We need to get Habibis Da.
Yeah.
For the
Habibis.
Habibis, I like that. For those of you who are watching us via the live stream, if you want to listen to more of our episodes, you can find us at _Habibis or thehabibis.com. We mostly talk about life as Arabs and video games and other media. New episodes every week, inshallah, on Fridays. And if you enjoyed this, come hang out.
You can also send us emails at info@thehabibis.com or join us at Discord at discord.thehabibis.com.
And emails make Osama very happy.
They make me very happy. You know, I forgot this was live. I'm glad I didn't say anything that required editing. Hello, everyone.
Anyway.
All right, it's time to put the doily on this one. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. Thank you so much, Susan, for joining us. And see you next week for more Habibis. But for the time being, salam.
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 That was the Habibis podcast for this week. I am Fawzi Masmar, your host for this episode. You can find me on Twitter at Fawzi Masmar. My fellow Habibis were Osama Dorias, who you can find on Twitter at Osama Dorias, and Rami Ismail, who you can find on Twitter at THA_Rami. Send us your questions, stories, and suggestions via info@thehabibis.com. Intro and outro music was provided by Malik Zubayla, and the logo was provided by Ibrahim Hamdi. The Habibis is a weekly podcast about 3 game developers drinking good Arab tea, with new episodes launching every Friday, inshallah. If you enjoyed the show, don't forget to subscribe to your favorite podcasting service, or check out thehabibis.com for more information. Thank you for listening. Salam.